Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are in headquarters. That's right, we have some company with us. Either late 90s, early 2000s, No Fear shirt, 1995 Super Bowl shirt. We have Tracy Lawrence. We have Luke Bryant. We have a nice little rap tee here, Chris Brown and Bow Wow. Another, where you at? Another rap tee right there. A little bit of a Green Arrow, some Flintstones, and we have good old boy Blue there. You're my boy, Blue. Anyway, decided to switch it up. Why not, right? All right. Right now, taking you back to when I was a sober living. This video right here, we're going to talk about when you relapse with a head full of recovery. And what I mean by that is, say, for example, you've been to a rehab or multiple rehabs. You've been at AA, NA, CA, MA, all of that, right? And then one day you get a wild hair up your butt after a little bit of a sobriety, a little stint of recovery in you. You get a wild hair up your butt. You decide to mess around and fall back to your old habits. You decide to have a lapse in your recovery, a lapse in judgment, a relapse, whatever you want to call it, that happens. It might seem fun during that time, during that evening, but the next morning when you wake up, yes, I have a car passing by. That next morning when you wake up, or afternoon when you wake up, your tolerance isn't the same, so you're not going to be feeling the same way you were. You might be hungover, whatever it is. And you're thinking, crap, I just messed up. I just lost my count. What I mean by that is sometimes you make it to day 30, day 60, day 90, day 120, day 1,000, and you're feeling great. And you decide to mess that up. That is one of the worst feelings I ever been through. I killed it back in rehab. I was clean for however long. I got comfortable. I got complacent. I decided to go have a little bit of fun because life is good. I'm fully self-sufficient up in rehab. I got a cool roommate that I was with in rehab. Now I'm in sober living. Life is good. I'm going to go out, play some pool. In the back of my mind, I'm feeling like I want a beer. As the night goes on, went in a couple games at pool, got some girls with us. Boom. One beer leads to about 4 or 5. And I'm not talking a little 12-ounce, 16-ounce beer. I'm talking a nice, tall glass of cold brewski. As the evening went on from there, after a couple cigarettes, get a wild hair up my butt. I'm like, hey, let's continue this party. I done messed up already. So I called the dope man. He's like, where you been? I'm like, you know where I've been. Every time I disappear, every time I stop calling him, I end up in rehab, in detox. That was part of my sickness, part of my disease. So I go pick up, make my night worse. I'm already experiencing some shame, some guilt. But I already know what I'm about to do. What I'm about to do is going to numb all that. As the night goes on, hopefully I make it home safe. I get back to sober living. Late, probably about 2:30, 3 in the morning. I have to break into sober living again. Gotta crawl through my window. Because as far as the house manager knew, I was just gonna go play some pool, go to the batting cages. So I successfully break into my room in sober living through the window, and then finish the rest of my stuff and pass out. Part of my routine was to wake up early, be at the gym when it opens, come back to the house, make some breakfast. That wasn't what happened the next day. That next day, I just sleep in. My roommate's already at work. When I wake up, I am feeling like the lowest of the low. Mentally defeated. Physically, I'm shot. I'm not trying to go get a workout in. Instant depression, shame, guilt of the worst. I had all the tools not to relapse. I could have picked up the phone, called somebody, but that wasn't part of my routine. No way. No way. That would have just rained on my parade, and I just never gave myself a chance at that time. Never gave anybody a chance, because once I had my mind made up, I was made up. My body on autopilot. Right off the rip. So I wake up feeling crap. Feeling like crap. My bedroom window was facing the backyard. So that morning, we had a visitor. We had some kid at the house. He just got out of rehab. He was stopping by the house. Brought his guitar over. And he was just hanging out in the backyard with some of the housemates. Some of the guys that were my housemate, they were in rehab with us. So they were just out in the back talking about life. The kid was informing us how the rest of his stay was. He was informing us what all the other clients were up to. All that, just life updates. And my housemates were informing him as to how things were. And the kid was just playing his guitar like they were camping. I could see all this, I could hear all this. There's no damn way I was going to go in the backyard and participate. I wasn't feeling myself. I'm pretty sure I wasn't looking myself. My whole vibe would have been off. I would have been asked, damn, what'd you do last night? All eyes would have been on me. That would have just added to the guilt and shame. I was damned if I did that, damned if I didn't do that. The proper thing to do at that time would have been to go in the back, tell my friends, my housemates, what I did last night, and just talk it out. Come clean with the house manager, come clean with my sponsor. That would have been the right thing to do. Get some help from people who have been through it. But nah. I kept all that inside here and in here. As time went on, all that shame and guilt was still in here. I couldn't take it. So I ended up relapsing again. I went into a full-blown relapse, ended up leaving that sober living. Thankfully, I had a place to go at that time. Went back to go stay with my mom. But I was just a wreck. I do not recommend it. There's no way I could describe what I was feeling in here. I could only express it through words. I'm sure you guys heard these words before. But in order to feel what I was feeling, you would have had to go through it. I relapsed with a head full of recovery. I didn't use any of the resources that I preached. any of the resources that I knew. It just eats at you and eats at you and eats at you. I never made it out of a relapse successfully the right way. I just kept going backwards and making my problem worse. Every bottom has another bottom, and that bottom has a bottom. So if you're clean, you go to rehab, you do good, graduate successfully, do whatever you do after you get out, whether it's sober living, anything like that. And then you end up relapsing. Boom. Chances are you're going to be right back to running and gunning. That bottom that you left, that trap door, you just fell right through it. You're going to experience another bottom. Stay sober, my friends.